Hey, this is Ryan with Sawdust and Stuff, and today I'm going to show you how I made the firewood shed that's sitting behind me. My wife and I love bonfires and we love having people over, so last spring we made the perfect bonfire pit. This year we wanted to complement that by making the perfect firewood shed. As with any project, you want to make sure you start level. So here we are leveling out the cinder blocks that go underneath the firewood shed. With the four corners level, we work our way upwards, using 2x6s for the side supports and 4x4s for the straight up and down supports that you see. Most of these are just added for some structure, but some of them have some real purpose as well. Once the basic structure was set in place, we worked our way from the floor up to the rafters. We attached the floor using some common joist hangers from the local hardware store and some 2x6s, and on top of those we attached a bunch of 2x10s for the most structure we could add. We knew this would be holding a lot of weight and we didn't want to mess around with the quality of wood we used on the floor. Once we had them all lined up, we screwed them down with some general construction screws, keeping in mind that we wanted to add a wall in here later, and so we located them in spots that wouldn't cause a problem. Because I made this project out of common length material from the store, 4 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot, I had to do some extra cuts here to make sure these outside 2x10s fit around the posts. I guess this was what I get for using no plans. We then worked up to the roof and used 2x4x10s with some rafter ties from the local store, spaced them as even as we could, and screwed them in. Again, I wasn't using plans and I have no idea what I'm doing, but these rafter ties only need to hold down the sheet metal I'm using for a roof, so I'm not too concerned about these. The sheet panel went up, we screwed it down, and it went about as well as you can hope. Once the roof was on, it was time to work on the siding. But before we attached that, we needed to use some 1x4x8s to make an even surface for the siding to go on. The two side walls are identical, but this back wall will actually have a door. More on that later. It's finally time for the siding, in which we used cedar 1x6 dog-eared fence panels to install. We pre-cut them early and these went up really quickly. It wasn't hard and it's the perfect siding for a project like this. We also spaced them out 1/4 inch above each other to make room for airflow, but also the expanding and contracting that'll happen throughout the seasons. The back wall was a little bit differently because we had the doorway. We only needed one of the fence panels and kept them even on the sides with the same spacing to give it a natural look. This firewood shed could be finished here. Just board off that back wall rather than make a doorway and you've got the perfect firewood shed that holds 3 full cords of firewood. But I don't need that much firewood. Instead, I'm framing up a wall here to block off enough for just 1 face cord of firewood. That'll leave me some storage behind the firewood to store things such as shovels, axes, rakes, chairs, all the stuff I don't use a whole lot, but also are fine being outside in an unweatherproofed area. For the wall, I just used 2x4x6, but remember, they are green treated. And I followed the same exact pattern as the outside, cedar siding, spaced apart, top bottom, because I wanted to make sure that top lined up. The last and final step of this is putting this door on. I assembled the door using 1x4x8s, some pocket screws, and again, I used the cedar siding to frame it. You can see it doesn't line up well. This door actually caused me a lot of trouble, but in the end, the hinges worked out just fine. I'll come up with some better storage solutions for this space later, but let's get this thing loaded up and get the wood in and see how it looks all complete. While we load this up, let me give you some specifics of this project. We spent about $800 on the material cost of the shed, with an additional $150 on the firewood we're loading up here. We also spent one full day Saturday with 2 of us working, and a following weekend we spent about 4 hours of work on that. So altogether, this isn't a huge project, but it's substantial enough, makes a big difference, and it really did help us out in our own yard. Well, that's it for this project, guys. Thanks for following along. As always, hit the bell, subscribe, comment on the video, and let me know if you tackled this project on your own. See you guys next time.